Welcome to another enlightening episode of Buddhist Echoes. If you've ever wondered how spiritual wisdom can guide your financial success, you've come to the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating intersection of Buddhism and prosperity, where ancient teachings meet modern-day principles of wealth building. In this episode, we explore how the energy of numbers, each symbolizing unique aspects of growth, balance, and abundance, can profoundly shape our approach to both material and spiritual success. Whether you're new to the teachings of the Buddha or a seasoned practitioner, this episode will offer fresh insights and practical advice on how to align your financial journey with your deepest values and spiritual practices. We'll discuss how numbers like 4, 16, 42, 56, and 8 carry hidden energies that, when understood and applied mindfully, can help us build solid foundations, embrace change, work compassionately, adapt to new opportunities, and create cycles of infinite prosperity. But this is not just about numbers. It's about the deeper wisdom behind them. It's about learning how to balance financial growth with spiritual well-being, embracing change, and transforming adversity into opportunities for growth. As we journey through these powerful concepts, you'll gain clarity on how to create lasting change in your life, and how these teachings can lead you to a state of balance, fulfillment, and abundance. This isn't just about financial success. It's about creating a life that resonates with purpose and peace. Before we dive in, I want to remind you to hit that like button if you believe in the power of aligning your material and spiritual growth. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family who are looking to make a meaningful impact on both their finances and their spiritual well-being. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Buddhist Echoes channel for more content that blends timeless Buddhist wisdom with modern-day practical living. Let's begin this journey of discovery. And remember, in the end, true prosperity is about more than wealth. It's about the balance of all things. 1. The power of number 4, discipline and long-term growth. The number 4 represents the cornerstone of stability and dependability. It's a number that conveys a sense of structure, planning, and methodical effort in the context of financial growth. The number 4 emphasizes the importance of building strong, reliable foundations before pursuing larger goals or ambitions. Like the beams of a house, the groundwork must be laid carefully and with consideration. Without it, the structure will never stand firm. When we think about the pursuit of wealth or success, many people get caught in the rush of wanting quick results, immediate gratification. But the number 4 teaches us that true growth is built on solid, sustainable principles, something that takes time, effort, and a commitment to consistent, right action. The ability to delay gratification and build patiently is critical. It speaks to the concept of planning ahead, laying each brick in its rightful place before moving to the next. In Buddhist terms, this idea closely aligns with the principle of right effort from the Noble Eightfold Path. Right effort teaches that through consistent and mindful work, we can achieve lasting results, whether in spiritual practice, personal growth, or even financial prosperity. It's not about rushing ahead, but about cultivating habits and practices that support a steady, progressive journey towards success. Buddhist insight, the principle of right effort. Right effort involves perseverance and a focus on positive actions that lead to long-term benefits. In a world that often prioritizes speed and immediate outcomes, the number 4 encourages us to focus on the long-term process. For example, a gardener doesn't expect to see the fruits of their labor immediately. They tend to their plants, nurture the soil, and give time for growth. Similarly, the disciplined effort you invest in today, whether it's through saving, learning, or developing yourself, will compound over time. In Buddhism, we are reminded that without patience and a proper mindset, the seeds of effort will not flourish. The connection between the number 4 and right effort teaches that only when we remain steadfast and consistent in our actions, without seeking immediate results? Can we cultivate lasting success in all areas of life, including financial prosperity, personal insight, building a strong foundation? Imagine you're constructing a house. You wouldn't begin by building the roof before laying down the foundation. The roof, without a solid foundation, will eventually collapse. This is the same approach to financial security. It's crucial to start with the fundamentals, having a budget, practicing financial discipline, and being aware of your spending habits. These small, consistent actions form the base that will support your future ambitions. Now think about the habits you cultivate today. Are you putting in the effort needed to establish a future that will provide stability and security? It might not seem like a lot in the short term, but steady, disciplined effort will always pay off in the long run. Example story: Warren Buffett's disciplined approach to wealth. A prime example of the power of number 4 in action is Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors. Buffett's approach to wealth is built on the principle of patience and disciplined, long-term investment. He doesn't rush into investments based on the whims of the market. Instead, he conducts thorough research and focuses on companies with strong fundamentals, seeking those that will grow over time. Buffett's success didn't come from chasing fast profits or taking impulsive risks. Instead, he built his fortune steadily, investing in reliable businesses and letting the compounding interest do its work. His commitment to long-term thinking and building his wealth methodically is a perfect embodiment of the energy of the number 4. In his own words, the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. 2. Number 16. Embracing change for personal and financial growth. The number 16 is a call to let go of old patterns, to shed the outdated, and embrace transformation, whether we're talking about our financial habits or our mindset. 16 encourages us to challenge long-held beliefs and be open to the idea of change. It's not just about material wealth. It's about a deeper evolution of the self. In the world of finance, many people hold onto outdated beliefs about money, often due to cultural or family influences. These beliefs can limit our ability to grow and adapt to new opportunities. Number 16 challenges these outdated paradigms and invites us to reevaluate our approach, ensuring that we are aligned with our higher purpose and values. In Buddhist philosophy, this mirrors the practice of letting go or non-attachment. Attachment to old habits, outdated systems, or even past failures can hold us back from reaching our potential. By embracing change, we create the opportunity for new growth and new possibilities to emerge. Buddhist insight: letting go and non-attachment. Buddhism teaches us that attachment is a source of suffering, whether it's attachment to material possessions, past mistakes, or even our identity. These attachments create barriers to true freedom. Number 16 is a reminder to release these attachments and embrace transformation in the context of personal growth. Letting go allows us to step into a new version of ourselves, one that is more aligned with the present moment and open to future possibilities. In financial terms, this might mean reevaluating our spending habits, letting go of consumerist desires, or even shifting our mindset about what constitutes success. By releasing attachments to limiting beliefs about money, we free ourselves to attract greater abundance in ways that are more aligned with our true purpose. Personal insight: the necessity of letting go. Think about a time when you had to release something, perhaps an old habit, a toxic relationship, or an outdated goal. While letting go is often difficult and uncomfortable, it's often the first step in a new chapter. Without release, there can be no space for new things to enter your life. Letting go might mean leaving behind the comfort of old habits, but it also opens up a world of possibilities. If you're able to release what no longer serves you, you open the door to transformation. Financial growth, personal development, and spiritual awakening are all interconnected by the act of shedding old layers and stepping into something greater. Example story: a personal leap of faith. Consider the story of someone who made a major life or career change. Perhaps someone who was stuck in a job that no longer served them, and took the leap into something completely new. The journey may have been filled with uncertainty, but the decision to embrace change led them to financial and personal growth they never imagined possible. In my own life, I can recall a time when I had to make a significant change. I left behind a career that no longer aligned with my values, and though it was daunting, it opened up new opportunities one never thought possible. Transformational moments often come at the expense of comfort, but they always lead to growth. 3. Number 29, compassion and emotional intelligence in financial decisions. The number 29 represents a blend of ambition and empathy, two qualities that are often at odds in a world focused on material wealth. But true success, according to number 29, is about finding balance between the pursuit of financial gain and the nurturing of relationships, kindness, and emotional awareness. Financial decisions aren't just about numbers, they're about people. Whether you're making investments, running a business, or simply managing your personal finances, your emotional intelligence plays a significant role. How you manage stress, navigate challenges, and make decisions based on empathy and compassion will ultimately shape your financial success. Buddhist insight, the middle way and compassionate prosperity. In Buddhism, the middle way is a core teaching that guides us to find balance between extremes. The pursuit of wealth can easily become an obsession, leading to greed and suffering. Conversely, rejecting wealth altogether can lead to poverty and a lack of resources to help others. The middle way teaches us to balance our material desires with spiritual growth, finding peace in both. The number 29 echoes this teaching. It encourages us to approach wealth not with selfish ambition, but with a sense of responsibility and compassion when we use our resources to support others, whether through charitable giving, ethical investments, or mindful consumption. We align our financial goals with higher moral and spiritual principles. Personal insight, true prosperity beyond money. True prosperity isn't simply about accumulating more money. It's about what that wealth represents. If you amass wealth but use it to further your own desires without considering its impact on others, you might find that your financial success leaves you empty. However, when your wealth serves a higher purpose, whether that's helping others, supporting your community, or investing in causes you believe in, it becomes a source of true fulfillment. In my own life, I've learned that the most meaningful financial success comes not from accumulating material wealth, but from creating value in ways that contribute to the greater good. Think about Oprah Winfrey, whose financial success is intertwined with her philanthropic efforts. She has used her platform and resources to elevate others, not just herself. Her wealth isn't just a symbol of financial success, but of spiritual abundance that enriches her community and beyond. Example story: Oprah Winfrey's balanced approach to wealth. Oprah Winfrey exemplifies the energy of number 29. Her success is not defined by her wealth alone, but by her deep sense of purpose and compassion. Oprah built her empire not just by making money, but by focusing on empowering others. Through her philanthropic work and her focus on emotional well-being, Oprah represents a balanced approach to prosperity, where financial success is intertwined with spiritual and emotional fulfillment. 4. Number 42, harmony between material and spiritual goals. The number 42 symbolizes a harmonious blend of material success and spiritual fulfillment. It isn't merely about acquiring wealth or success, but about finding a balance between achieving worldly goals and cultivating inner peace. This number reminds us that true prosperity is not solely about financial abundance, but also about spiritual well-being. And these two aspects of life are deeply interconnected. The pursuit of financial goals can easily become a source of imbalance. People often focus so heavily on accumulating wealth that they neglect their spiritual health. or the well-being of those around them. The number 42 teaches us that lasting success is only achieved when we nurture both our material and spiritual sides. Just as a tree needs both roots and branches to grow tall, we need to cultivate both material success and inner peace to reach our full potential. Buddhism offers a profound perspective on balance and interconnectedness. The Buddha taught that all things in life are interdependent. Our happiness, our wealth, and our spiritual growth are all connected. This understanding forms the core of the number 42's message: balance, unity, and sustainability. By fostering collaboration and a sense of community, we create an environment where both financial and spiritual growth can thrive simultaneously. Buddhist insight, interconnectedness and harmony. Buddhism emphasizes interconnectedness, or interbeing, which refers to the understanding that all things are linked and dependent on each other. This includes the material and spiritual realms, which are not separate, but rather interdependent. True wealth, from a Buddhist perspective, is not just about material possessions, but also about peace of mind, compassion, and the harmonious relationships we cultivate with others. The Buddha's teachings on the middle way offer guidance on this balance. He cautioned against the extremes of both indulgence and asceticism, advocating instead for a path that harmonizes both the material and the spiritual. Similarly, number 42 encourages us to avoid extremes in our financial and spiritual pursuits. Too much focus on wealth can lead to greed and attachment, while excessive spiritual pursuit without any attention to material needs can lead to suffering and insecurity. The key is finding a harmonious balance where both aspects of life coexist and support each other. The number 42 also teaches the importance of collaboration. In a Buddhist context, this might be seen in the practice of Sangha, the community of practitioners who support each other's spiritual growth. This interconnectedness within the community creates a foundation for both individual and collective flourishing. Similarly, in life, collaboration and teamwork allow us to combine our strengths, work towards common goals, and share the benefits of our combined efforts, both materially and spiritually. Personal insight, collaboration, and collective growth. In my own experience, I've learned that working with others toward a shared goal amplifies our strengths and creates a greater impact. It's much like planting a garden. When we work together, each person contributes something unique, and together we create a thriving ecosystem that benefits everyone. The success of one person can lift others, and vice versa. When we engage in meaningful collaboration, whether in our personal lives or in our financial endeavors, we create an environment that encourages growth, learning, and prosperity for all involved. This principle can be seen in the workplace, in social movements, and even in family dynamics. When everyone works together in alignment with a shared vision, success becomes more achievable. And just as in a garden, it requires patience, mutual respect, and understanding. The number 42 reminds us that individual achievement is important, but it is through collective action that we reach the highest form of success and fulfillment. Example story: Nelson Mandela's leadership and commitment to social progress. A powerful example of the energy of the number 42 is the life and leadership of Nelson Mandela. Mandela's journey was marked by a deep commitment to both personal growth and collective advancement. He balanced his own struggles and achievements with a larger vision of social justice and unity. His leadership wasn't about personal glory or wealth. It was about the well-being of his people and the creation of a just society. Mandela understood that true power and prosperity lie in the collective growth of a community. He worked tirelessly not just for political freedom, but for the spiritual freedom of his people, striving for equality, justice, and harmony. His leadership exemplified how material success, in the form of political change and freedom, can be deeply intertwined with spiritual goals in the form of social justice, healing, and reconciliation. Mandela's legacy reminds us that financial and material success should always be guided by compassion and the welfare of others, and it is through such balance that we find true prosperity. 5. Number 56. Freedom and adaptability in prosperity. Number 56 is a number that embodies freedom and adaptability, two qualities that are essential for success in an ever-changing world. It encourages us to be flexible, open-minded, and willing to embrace new opportunities. Success, both material and spiritual, comes not from rigidly adhering to a single path, but from the ability to adapt and evolve in response to life's fluctuations. In the world of finance, this idea manifests in our ability to pivot when necessary, to explore new ventures, and to embrace creativity. The traditional notion of prosperity often involves stability and long-term investments, but the number 56 teaches us that growth comes from the willingness to embrace change. Adaptability allows us to flow with life rather than resisting its inevitable shifts. In Buddhist terms, the concept of impermanence, anicca, is central to understanding the nature of all things. Everything is in constant flux, and our ability to adapt to change is key to living a fulfilled life. Whether in the financial realm or in our spiritual practice, it is our ability to remain fluid and open to change that enables us to thrive. Buddhist insight, impermanence, and the power of adaptability. The Buddha's teaching of anicca, or impermanence, reminds us that all things are in a constant state of flux. Nothing remains the same forever, and this truth applies equally to both our financial situation and our spiritual journey. Recognizing the impermanence of our circumstances allows us to let go of attachment and embrace change as an opportunity for growth. In terms of financial prosperity, this means understanding that markets, opportunities, and even personal fortunes are never fixed. Wealth may ebb and flow, and external circumstances may change unexpectedly. The key is not to be overly attached to any particular outcome, but rather to remain open to new possibilities and to trust in the process of change. In spiritual terms, adaptability allows us to continue our practice even when life presents unexpected challenges. This is a lesson in resilience. When we are flexible and adaptable, we allow ourselves to meet each moment with openness and creativity rather than fear and resistance. Just as a tree bends with the wind rather than breaking, we too must learn to bend with the changing winds of life in order to grow. Personal insight, embracing change and finding new opportunities. In my own life, I've had to embrace change more than once. There were times when I had to pivot, whether it was changing careers or adjusting my mindset about money. Each time, the change brought new opportunities for growth and understanding. Change is often uncomfortable, but it's also essential for progress. For example, when I shifted careers, it was initially a terrifying decision, but over time, I realized that embracing this change allowed me to discover new talents, learn new skills, and find greater fulfillment in my work. Change, while challenging, is often the catalyst for personal and financial growth. The number 56 teaches us that true prosperity comes not from clinging to the old, but from embracing the new and adapting to whatever life brings. Example story: a risk-taking startup founder's journey. Consider the story of a startup founder who took a risk and pivoted their business model to meet a changing market demand. Initially, their venture was struggling, but by embracing adaptability, reassessing their approach, finding creative solutions, and listening to customer feedback, they were able to rebrand and find success. This story illustrates the power of adaptability and creativity in the face of adversity. This kind of flexibility is what the number 56 encourages. It's about having the freedom to make changes and the courage to pursue new opportunities when life presents them. Prosperity is not just about staying the course. It's about knowing when to shift direction and trusting that the journey with all its twists and turns, will lead to growth. 6. Number 8. The energy of infinite prosperity. Number 8 is a powerful symbol of infinite abundance and prosperity, suggesting that wealth is not a finite resource, but rather something that flows in cycles. In both material and spiritual terms, prosperity is not a one-time achievement, but a continuous process that ebbs and flows. When we align ourselves with the natural cycles of life, we are able to tap into a source of endless abundance. The concept of cyclical prosperity is especially important in both the material and spiritual realms. Just as the seasons of nature follow cycles of birth, growth, decay, and renewal, so too do the cycles of our own lives. Wealth, in all its forms, flows in these natural rhythms. There are times of great abundance and times of scarcity, but through it all, the cycle continues. Buddhism teaches us about the law of karma, which mirrors this cyclical nature of prosperity. Our actions, whether positive or negative, create ripples that return to us in ways that are often unexpected. Just as the law of karma suggests that what we give to the world comes back to us, so too does prosperity flow in cycles of cause and effect. Buddhist insight, the law of karma and cyclical prosperity. The law of karma states that every action we take has consequences, and those consequences inevitably return to us, often in ways we do not foresee. This concept is closely related to the cyclical nature of prosperity. The energy we put out into the world, whether it is through generosity, kindness, or wise actions, creates a cycle that comes back to us as both spiritual and material abundance. Generosity, for instance, is one of the primary virtues in Buddhism. It is believed that when we give without expectation of receiving, we create positive karma, which in turn brings us spiritual fulfillment and material prosperity. Number 8 embodies this principle, teaching that true abundance comes not from hoarding resources, but from giving and sharing. Personal insight, the cycle of giving and receiving. I've experienced firsthand how prosperity, whether financial or spiritual, flows in cycles. In my own life, I found that when I give freely, whether through time, resources, or kindness, I often receive more than I expected. This cycle of giving and receiving is not just a principle of financial wealth, but of spiritual growth as well. By focusing on serving others and acting with generosity, I've noticed that wealth and opportunity tend to flow back to me in ways I hadn't anticipated. The number 8 is a reminder that prosperity is not linear, but cyclical. By contributing to the greater good, we open ourselves to receive abundance in unexpected and often deeply fulfilling ways. Example story: the Buddhist parable of the generous king. One of the most famous Buddhist stories that exemplifies the principle of cyclical prosperity is the tale of a generous king who gave away his wealth to help others. Despite the sacrifices he made, the king found that his kingdom flourished in ways that went beyond material wealth. His generosity created a cycle of goodwill and prosperity, not just for himself but for his people as well. The king's actions demonstrate that true prosperity comes not from accumulating wealth, but from sharing it. In giving, he opened the door for abundance to flow back to him in many forms: spiritual fulfillment, happiness, and the prosperity of his kingdom. The energy of number 8 teaches us that by living in harmony with the cycles of life, we can experience infinite prosperity. Whether we are giving or receiving, both aspects of the cycle are vital to our growth and abundance. As we wrap up today's episode, I hope the insights shared on the mystical powers of numbers 4, 16, 42, 56, and 8 have provided you with fresh perspectives on how to integrate your spiritual practices with your pursuit of prosperity. Whether you're seeking discipline, transformation, compassion, adaptability, or the cyclical flow of abundance, these principles can guide you to live a life that is both materially successful and spiritually fulfilling. The key takeaway today is that prosperity, true prosperity, isn't a destination, but a journey that requires a balance between effort and mindfulness, between giving and receiving, and between living with purpose while embracing the freedom to adapt and grow. Just as the Buddha taught us about the impermanence of all things, we too must remain flexible, open, and ready to embrace whatever comes our way. By integrating these ancient principles with our modern pursuits, we can build a life that reflects both our material aspirations and our deepest spiritual values. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What did you think about the teachings we explored today? How do you personally balance your material and spiritual goals? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your insights and stories. Your feedback not only helps us improve, but also contributes to building a community of like-minded individuals who are all on this journey of self-improvement and prosperity. If this video inspired you, please like it, share it with friends or family who might benefit from this wisdom, and subscribe to the Buddhist Echoes channel so you can stay updated on future content that brings ancient wisdom into the modern world. Remember, prosperity is a cycle, and every step you take toward balance, harmony, and growth brings you closer to a life of true abundance. Thank you for joining me today on this journey. Until next time, may you find peace in the present moment and success on your path, both material and spiritual.